But this is the internet, and the the big YouTubers with the fan base of small impressionable children have to post that turnips are the best, so that they can basically keep their own town and or like profit off their audience, which is insanely fucking scummy.
Not just their audience, because, and I've said this, and this is the argument. Oh, hey, an extra water bag I could sell.
Look, more money.
These are 2,000 apiece. That's
so that means if and that's why you were holding it, because if CJ shows up, that's 4,000 for those.
He doesn't buy water bugs. Flick.
Oh wait, Flick. I guess.
Flick buys bugs. CJ buys.
And so Flick, they would buy those for 4,000.
No, it's a 50% markup.
Oh
so
wait, yeah.
2,000
Half of that
is
yeah.
1,000.
So 3,000.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah, that's still, it's still good.
That's ridiculous money for just something you can catch.
Like I said, it's what we were just talking about the constant wrong item.
Damn it.
The constant stream of smaller things, which is why we had brought, when, Flick or CJ, if you bring them a bunch of, bugs or fish that are, around 3,000 or so, you get a decent amount of it. Some people say, you only get, 1 or 2 extra thousand for it, and it's one of those on its own, it's not that good. But when you're constantly giving him things that are worth 3,000, it starts to add up. Or 4,000, it starts to add up.
You have a constant money flow that, in my opinion, in these games, is the best consistency, because it might not be 7 or 8 million bells worth of turnips, but to give a good example, 10,000 bells. 10 times 10 is 100. For just 10 bugs that get you 10,000, that's 100k. That is 100k that is incredibly easy and plentiful to get. And this goes to why I considered, the long-term money method of just getting rare bugs and fish the constant best. Because you could say, oh, but what if I got big turnip prices where they buy for 900 bells a turnip, and I have 4,000 turnips. Yeah, that's a lot of money, but one, Coelacanth, when it's raining, without CJ's markup, is 15k. That's ridiculous. That's good profit margin.
And you could basically catch those things until it stops raining.
And, in my opinion, it's... And I can see someone saying, oh, but you're complaining about turnip RNG, but then... What if the Coelacanth or the tuna just aren't spawning for me, or a blue marlin? How is that any better? And my counterpoint... Because the consistency for rare...
Those exist more than a week at a time.
Yeah.
Like I said, as long as it's raining, you can get a Coelacanth.
And, regardless, the other thing, and this also adds up astronomically, if you happen to get CJ, even if you're getting only, sea bass, 50% markup on a few hundred sea bass add up to a good 15 to 20,000 extra bells just because sea bass are common garbage fish. But you're turning that common... What the hell is... Oh, it's weird. But you're turning that common garbage fish into an absolute gold mine of just sheer volume of numbers. I see that other fossil, and let's also just see what fish we get. And I can check that one rock. And, in the the summer months, or for people in the other hemisphere that get the sharks and stuff, those add up a lot.
Those have always been the famous Animal Crossing money-making strategy, especially because New Leaf put them only on Tortimer Island. You could get those any time in New Leaf, right?
No,
Okay.
not exactly. What they did in New Leaf, Tortimer Island, during the summer months where sharks and stuff were active, Tortimer Island was a really good way to farm sharks, and sharks sold for a lot of money. On top of that, the other thing that was really good with the Tortimer Island...
Okay, before we continue, that rock didn't have a problem, so I think it is because trees are around the one rock. I'm pretty sure that is the reason that one consistently it keeps glitching out, because of the trees that are around it.
Tortimer Island, because the other thing that made Tortimer Island really good, and we'll be seeing these in summer, it's this group of beetles that spawn on trees and a few like coconut trees. Oh hey, look, a violin beetle.
And there it goes.
But we already donated one, so I don't care. I just find it funny that I ran into it.
You always run into them when you're not looking.
So, basically, the Tortimer Island thing... Tortimer Island spawned a bunch of rare sharks. And it also spawned a bunch of rare beetles. And everything was worth... around... Some were around, like, 6,000, 8,000. Some were 10,000 or more. No, I grabbed the fence. I saw a present. Oh, that's good. Just gonna fly down here. And that goes to my example of, sure, it's not like 8 million bells and turnips in 5 minutes, but if I got 4 or 500,000 in just sharks, that really does add up, because a Tortimer Island trip, if everything you're getting is around 8,000 or more, that'll get you 300,000 or 400,000 bells very, very easily in a couple of trips. And I had millions of bells in the bank because I would fish on Tortimer Island for hours, and I would always get like the whale sharks and the rare beetles and stuff. And because of that, I would constantly have this ridiculous flow of money coming in. And I had a lot of just money sitting in the bank that I just never spent. And New Leaf, they never patched or altered the interest. And once I had tons of money just sitting there, every month or two I would get around like 100,000 or more in interest, and then that would add up. So then in a year, that's, around 1 million extra on top of the 1 million extra that are just sitting in your bank, because I would literally fish until the sun was nearly coming up. And that kind of became a meme, because I'm gonna go check that other rock before we sell fruit.
Yeah, it is the trees. It's the trees that are fucking the one rock up.
And Tortimer Island kind of became a meme, because people would talk about how they would have like, once they unlocked Tortimer Island and played during the summer, how they would have the, like, maximum house and just...
Which is why, like, when we actually, you know, officially roll around the summer, I'm afraid of some form of update or something, possibly altering, like, shark spawn rates or altering how much they sell for, because I feel keeping the sharks and stuff as a good money-making strategy is fair, because you still have to find them. Though, like, as I said before, I am kind of, like, you know...
Let's go sell my fruit and some fish.
And I know this comes off incredibly petty, but in some ways I kind of don't care. I'm kind of glad of a bunch of updates to the game, apparently altering, like, the spawns for things, or altering the interest, like, basically the amount of interest you get at the end of each month, because to me that kind of subtly says that the developers actually aren't okay with time traveling, even though people will go to that like, oh, but the director in an interview said that they don't mind it or something. But again, the game is basically consistently being updated to make time traveling less viable, and did the turnip thing always... That's always been there?
That's just a rule in general that was...
I genuinely couldn't remember, because, you know, I nearly never bought fucking turnips.
Because turnips are useless!
Oh yeah, but, like...
Just sell the weed clump as well. Actually, I might sell those sticks too. Get fossils. That'll be a good chunk of money. $69?
Oh, yeah!
69,440.
So close.
It was almost 69.
420.
Damn it. Nice. Let's go see how much the house. And, like, the thing is, we will get decent money, even if it is slow. I just, like I was saying, and that's not even counting those fossils. But I want to see how much
that we could potentially sell.
What?
Those fossils, they could be new or they could be old again.
If they're old, I just sell them off. They're worth money to me, so let's see how much I have to. Yeah.
It's about half if you pay literally everything.
I just put 100 on it then. Okay. So that's a little bit unfortunate, because I don't want to dig too deep into the savings, because we're just going to end up in a similar... Which is why I wish CJ would come around. Or Flick.
Maybe tomorrow, unless the Earth Day event is what's fucking up them showing up.
Because I need money. Because I don't like spending too much, but I'm glad to put 100 of the fruit down, because we just basically got over 100. Already has fossils such as these. So, that's it. 5,000 or more. Nice. If I could get CJ or Flick again, I mean, this is an example of, while I like the slow money, it does hit a point where you kinda need way more money.
Like, there are other ways, like, there are other ways you could still, like, make money, like, small amount of irony. We have a bunch of the junk that you have in storage we could just sell to clear it out and make more money, and also one of those if you decide to do an absolute clean sweep and sell a bunch of apples and, like, a bunch of, like, flower buds and stuff, that can also get an okay amount of money.
That's nice.
You see, the 2 fossils, that was 11,000 clean.
Let's see what the hot item is. Oh, the stall. Interesting. And the stall is actually... I want to see how much a stall sells for. Because if they pay double... Stall takes a couple of wood. So yeah, I mean, now, unfortunately, because of storage reasons...
I guess it's time to get crafting.
Let's see what the stall... Oh yeah, the peach chair.
That too.
Soon, my friend. Get with it. Really, everything was. Oh, did I miss the stone? Oh, wait, there it is. 12 wood. I love my metal door. So. We can knock out the lawn in a couple of harvests, though, which is good. All my damn clothes and these fish I was saving.
Yeah.
Because if I got fucking CJ and I sold these, that's ridiculous. And then these tunas are ridiculous. And the red snappers were just like some oarfish are in here. Knife jaws were common. And some other red snappers. I'd make one stall. If I'm selling nonsense, I might as well. I could dip into savings and pay off the house, but the problem is, if I'm going to do that, I would rather do that when it's the last payment. Let's see how much a stall sells for.
It's 12 wood, so that's an okay, like, even if you got, like, 3, even if all 3 drops out of a tree were the standard wood, that's not. It'll take 4 trees, so, like, and that's only if every single drop of wood was the same, so that's an, okay amount of resources. It's, of course, nothing compared to the fucking robot.
Stall.
That 420 Snicker is probably a result of the seashells. So it was probably around a clean 3,000.
Which ain't bad, but I don't know. Waste a bunch of wood on that. I just want to see what it was worth. So yeah, in a couple of days, we can easily get the money, and like I was saying, I would much rather have...
So we should probably get them recording in a minute.
Might take an island tour and see if we happen to get hybrid flowers or anything of...
Or anything that could be of value. Because if I get hybrid flowers, we can get the one butterfly without me having to... Or we could get lucky and get an island that generates a lot of good, bugs or fish or something and sell a bunch of them.
I just dropped the money right here. It's time for the question of the day and my overall thoughts on the topic. So, anyway, when it comes to earning bells in this game, what is your preferred long-term method for gaining bells? I'm not asking about short-term methods. I'm asking about the slower long-term methods, and in general, I prefer making a large fruit farm, but if you want a good way to get some extra money on the side, growing a money tree every day is a good way to also get a decent amount of extra bells, but the fruit farm will be a great way to get tons of bells over time, since the fruit farm basically grows in every 3 days, meaning you have a constant source of bells, and that will add up over time, because I feel like Animal Crossing is better when you approach it slowly day by day. And that one person that I do consider a friend, I constantly talk about how he tried to play Animal Crossing, basically had tons of bells and items given to him for free because he had a couple of fans that didn't mind giving him some handouts, and he basically ended up paying off his house in a couple of days, and he basically only played the game a little over a week before he basically put the game down and basically said he could not understand why people liked Animal Crossing, because he basically became incredibly bored with the game. And I'm sorry, I feel like he got bored because he basically got a ton of handouts and he basically had no ambitions. And I feel like he ended up disconnected and not really attached to the game, because when you get handed everything and you basically blow through the main game in about a week, of course the game will seem boring and not that interesting when you essentially get to the terraforming without much else to do, because he basically had no long-term goals since he basically paid off everything in just a few days. And I'm sorry, that is entirely his fault. And I feel like in order to truly appreciate Animal Crossing, you really need to take Animal Crossing slow and play it day by day, which he didn't do. But anyway, my main point here, I think getting a fruit farm set up is a great way to make a lot of bells slowly over time. And if you add in the money trees, that's a really good combination to add a good chunk of extra money, because if you plant 10,000 bells, the money tree will be 30,000 bells, meaning you get 10,000 back, and you profit 20,000, and that starts to add up slowly over time, and then a large fruit farm can easily net you several million bells over the course of a full year. And at the very least, every time you basically sell fruit, you get several thousand bells. And I know if you kept selling fruit every few days in about a year, you would easily get well over 1 million bells from fruit, even if you had a smaller fruit farm like I did, because in general you never really need that much money, because you only need to spend a lot of money on the home loans and on any additional add-on things like making ramps and bridges. In general, you don't really need that much money, and you can pay things in chunks, so it doesn't take that many days to essentially pay off most anything in the game if you use a fruit farm and some money trees in order to get a slow yet consistent income, basically. Anyway, you can leave your thoughts, opinions, and answers in the comments, or you can leave them on social media. All of my social media links, as well as my Discord links, are in the video description. Now, as always, I need to be a shill for a minute. If you're subscribed to the channel, and if you follow me on social media, that really helps our communities grow. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I hope I will see you all next time. So, as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody. I hope you come back someday. See you later.